Hey everyone. I actually can't believe I'm going back to this, but I think it's warranted because I've seen countless upon countless comments in my original S-Turk video, budget part especially, that people are having trouble defeating the boss. And when I talk to them, they all reveal that they are using a one-handed weapon on Tidus. Now, for all of you who know the game, have been playing for a while, etc., this video is not really meant for you guys. It's really more meant for the newer players here. Because apparently it's not something people have on their radar when they are equipping their units or don't have a particular item and have to substitute, like turfing. If you haven't played during Trials of Mana, you don't have that item, right? So what people tend then to do is, because they may be lacking in, say, Demon Killer, they go in and see which weapon looks good, like Darksteel Destroyer, right? This one has a Demon Killer after all. So they see this, 180, one attack, think, yeah, that's good, let's do this. And let me show you what happens when you do exactly that. It's the same team as in my original budget clear from last week, so no changes to the party. I just have to keep remembering what I did firsthand. So Tempest Tempo, I still haven't leveled this up because this is my wrong one. ZZ is just going to double cover and surrogate on Jesse. I don't even know what Bart's did, to be fair, but yeah, it was Blessed Wind Crystal. And that's pretty much it. Let's do just this stuff. And Jesse is going to triple SR with Tidus. Now, if you remember from my last video, Tidus is using Spiral Cut, by the way. So if you remember from my last video, we almost pushed the threshold just by the first one. Let's see what happens now. Oh boy, this looks pretty bad, doesn't it? Now Jessie got stopped, which is unfortunate. I forgot about that one. I think I changed something about her gear. But anyway, so 76%, right? That doesn't look too hard, and you are highly unlikely to defeat the boss that way. Let me refresh some energy. Not that much though. And let's check it out when you actually do this properly. But first of all, I need stop immunity. I'm kind of actually bewildered that she got stopped regardless, but so be it. So, why is that the case? Well, for one, this is a one-handed weapon, and for a second, he doesn't have the attack cap, but that's it. No, it doesn't matter. But it's a one-handed weapon, even though it looks like it's a two-handed weapon. No, Darksteel Destroyer, for example, is a one-handed weapon. And the other thing is the damage modifier. This is called variance. So Darksteel Destroyer can hit for a minimum variance of 0.85x, meaning you will deal less damage. The maximum variance is 1.15. So the optimal solution is, and because Tidus, you always, or I should preface this by saying you should always check the passives of these units, because Tidus, for example, has this passive called Double Hand. Most units have a passive called that way, Double Hand, Single Hand, anything like that, and that one increases attack when single wielding. Now, mine is EX plus 3, so he has a few buffs as well. But as you can see, this unit single wielding a weapon in one or both hands. Now, this, when you read this, please don't get confused that this means that you should wear a one-handed weapon just because you can. No, whenever you read double hand, That means on the one hand that TDH, which stands for true double hand, goes up to 400%. Now true dual wield, on the other hand, such as Jessie, for example, I can give her a second weapon. Let me just quickly do this. And you will see what I mean. Oh, geez. Oh my god. Just let me equip a random weapon onto her. Wait, she's true double hand as well? Oh yeah, she is. So, bad example. He's... Do I even have... Oh yeah, I know Bartz is a true dual wield unit. Bartz is a good example. So, let's throw away Darksteel Destroyer. Let's do this one. And here you see true dual wield. That way, you can always differentiate which one it is. When you read true dual wield or TDW, you know two one-handed weapons, that's the way to go. You do get more attack stats, obviously, because you're using a second weapon. However, your attack or equipment percentage for the attack is lower. It's only 200%. True double hand units offset this loss in attack from a second weapon by having higher attack percentages. So the easiest weapon to use is turfing. It's filtered again for great swords. So turfing, if you play during Trials of Mana, this is a great weapon because it's a two-handed sword here. That is the important part. And the variance, as you can see, the minimum variance of this weapon is already higher than on Darksteel Destroyer. While the attack is a little bit lower, but keep in mind when you multiply this, just as a rough reference, this doesn't really translate that easily into the game, but 181 multiplied by 1.15 was the variance, right? That is 208.15. Now 170 multiplied by 1.25 is 212. So just by comparing these values, you can already see that turfing is going to outperform the Darksteel Destroyer while the Darksteel Destroyer is at maximum variance, whereas turfing is at minimum variance. And truth be told, as you can add this up, 1.25, add a plus 1.75, nets 3.0 divided by 2, which is the average variance, is 1.5, meaning you get a 1.5 average variance on this weapon, meaning if the attack stat directly translated into 1 damage point, you'd be dealing 250 damage per attack. So that is why you should always use a two-handed weapon on units that want these two-handed or read true double hand. Now if you don't have turfing, obviously his own STMR, Kalat Bulk, is good, but keep in mind Kalat Bulk has a different damage modifier variance, but it has higher attack for that to make up for it. So turfing is an exception to the rule. Usually double-handed swords have 1.05 to 1.55 variance, but yeah, the reason why you should not use Kalat Bulk in this case is because it locks you to water, and this boss in particular is weak to fire and wind and ice, I believe, so using a water weapon is a bad idea because you will deal less damage. So what other options do you have, right? You could use a katana, for example. It's also two-handed. It's pretty good. And that was the STMR from Hexed and Cleome. You could use Kupu's sword, which is also a two-handed weapon and pretty strong at that. You could also use Obliterating Crimson Saber, which is Rain's STMR, if I'm not totally mistaken. There are plenty of options, and you should use them at your disposal when you have them. So, I already have turfing equipped, right? Yeah. So let's do all the same thing again, but this time I'm going to remove Dream of the Faith and GF extension as well, because I've come to realize those are STMRs and or time limited materia slots. People don't have them usually, so I will not use them in the upcoming budget guides. So let's do the same thing again with a proper weapon without GF extension and see how we fare this time around. Okay, so all of these just repeat. Let's wait for this to finish. So another thing you should always keep in mind is that you have the boss imperiled. If it's possible, you should also break the stats. We can only break attack and magic. So yeah, we are imbued. As you can see here, wind imbue. We are wind amped, which is nice. So all good. Now let's chain this up. We have to beat 76%, and I'm telling you, we will easily defeat this. Yeah. 11% of a difference. That's pretty strong, right? And this is really strictly budget gear. This is no STMRs anymore. We can just repeat these two, and that way we are pushing the threshold. You repeat this 2 more times. Just make sure that your Bards' LB is filled at this point, and you are basically good to go. There's nothing else that will change anything. So yeah, let's just do this. So S-Duck now transforms, and we can just keep on keeping on. The only thing that you have to keep in mind, the boss dispels us right now with Disruptive Wave. Now if you're using Bulwark, you are lucky because his Wind Amp persists, but we need another imbue. And that imbue, well, Bards and Brave Shift can just imbue, and he increases stats, which something which we haven't done yet. So let's just keep on keeping on. This is turn 3. We now have increased stats. Yeah, we didn't quite defeat the boss, but I think you get the gist that by turn 4, this fight is over. And that is why you always have to keep in mind whether a unit is true dual wield or true double hand. Alright, so let me just not do anything with Bulwark. So ZZ is certainly going to die now, who cares? He served his purpose. There's no death mission anyway. And that is it. We're done. So yeah, the video, like I said, meant more towards newer players who don't understand the game's mechanics just yet. Gist of it, don't use one-handed weapons or wrong element weapons on units that are supposed to be using two-handed weapons. Thank you all for watching. See you later. Bye bye.